This is RPM. It's considered one of the most gruelling off-road events on Australian soil. The Finke Desert Race again lived up to its reputation in 2008. A record field of 500 bikes and 67 buggies battled mud, dust and the arduous outback terrain in a 460-kilometre test of mental and physical endurance. Our Kylie King was there to capture all the drama.
Welcome to motor racing Central Australia style, where the aim of the game for most competitors is not to win the Finke Desert Race, but simply to complete it. And when it comes to tackling our country's harshest terrain, drivers will line up in anything that they think might go the distance, from purpose-built $200,000 racing buggies to backyard conversions.
Well, rock bottom. I hope that's not an omen.
That's more a pricing problem.
A pricing problem.
Yeah, we're doing it on a serious budget, so that describes how much money we've got.
What is it about this event that encourages you?
I'm a local and I've been involved in it for sort of 15 odd years, and it's just, you know, different, exciting, strange, weird, insane, all of the above.
Well, the man who has nothing in front of him except for lots of puddles is Dave Fellows. You're starting first. How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, we feel pretty good. The track should be good. Once we get out of our 10Ks, get rid of the water and into the sandy country, it should be a good race.
With the sun barely up, the first of the buggies are off. The pro buggy drivers set a frantic pace and they'll need to sustain it for another couple of hours. 66 buggies left Alice Springs on their 220-kilometre journey south to Finke. By the end of the day, only 2/3 would make the distance. If tackling this terrain in a buggy seems like a challenge, riding a motorbike must surely be considered the ultimate act of endurance.
I'm from Bathurst in New South Wales, and it's kind of like going to the V8 race weekend at Mount Panorama. It's just a fun week, and the track's nothing like you get anything in the world, and people love coming here.
It's a race that the top riders are desperate to win, yet has proven elusive to the best of them.
I led it in 04 by 10 minutes, but had a bike failure, so yeah, it's been pretty cruel, this race.
When you're halfway to 3/4 of the way, you're wondering why the hell you're even here doing it.
Prior to gridding up, several riders checked out conditions on foot to see what damage the rain and the buggies had caused to the track. Fear was clearly etched in many faces.
Oh, I saw those shaky hands. You're thinking, oh, this isn't going to be fun.
This is my first one. I think it's going to be my last one. It's just too much.
Just got to get past that first turn and you'll be right.
Yeah, I'll be fine after the first turn.
For some, it's all about winning. For others, Finke is a chance to settle some light-hearted scores.
Yeah, I'm going to beat those people. Yeah, we might beat you.
Jason Hill and Chad Billett were the first away, but there were 500 others hot on their tails, including last year's winner Ben Grabham and runner-up local hope Ryan Branford. 2 hours later, it was Ryan Branford who carved through the pack to be the first rider to reach Finke, but the big mover was Ben Grabham, who was quickest on adjusted times despite a less than perfect day.
Overflowing, my fuel tank flew off, so I had fuel spraying basically into my crutch the whole way down. Just pegs come loose on my bike and fell off, and I was plugged away. I was just one of those ones that at the beginning I just felt like pulling over because I was starting to get to the point I was pretty uncomfortable in pain with the fuel on me.
It was clear the punishing conditions had taken their toll. Jason Hill among several riders in agony, others with more superficial but no less painful injuries. All of them determined to make it here at any cost.
It appears you've got a broken leg, but you've ridden on regardless.
Yeah, a bit of bad luck at 170 mark there and broke my leg. Obviously didn't think it was that bad and kept riding. I just couldn't put it down, couldn't stand up, so it was a long 50 k's to get here.
I'll say you're a tough bugger.
Yeah, well, that's the thing for you, isn't it?
As competitors prepared to camp out in the desert overnight, they must surely be battling their inner demons, knowing they've got to do it all again on the return journey back to Alice. With a new sunrise, there comes renewed vigour, and going by the pace shown by leading buggy driver Dave Fellows, the worst must surely be behind them. In the end, fellows and navigator Andrew Kittle were barely troubled, taking victory in 3 hours, 40 minutes and 12 seconds.
Well, Dave, we've barely let you have a sip of water. You've barely climbed out of the car. How's it feel?
Yeah, it was a lot rougher coming home than it was going down, but yeah, it's good to be up front.
In a heartbreaking result for father and son team Shannon and Ian Wrench, they were a certainty for a podium finish before becoming stranded with transmission failure within sight of the finish line. Behind them, most of the motorbike riders battled fatigue and a well-worn track. The leaders, however, were relentless. In the end, Grabham holding on for back-to-back wins for Honda.
Really happy to back it up, and that was probably one of the toughest rides I've ever done. Just I knew Ryan was always there, and I couldn't let off and couldn't let him get close enough to me to push and get. But yeah, it's unreal.
For the rest of the mere mortals and the odd AFL legend, victory was simply in making it home.
Well, boys, is that the coldest beer you've ever had in your life?
I tell you what, I think it's the tastiest beer I've ever had in my life, I tell you.
Well, you've earned it.
That was one hard ride.
Was it worth it?
Not really. I think I boiled it 6 times on the way in from about 20k mark in, so it's been a long day. So happy now though, I'm here. Time for a beer.
And our thoughts are with the family of 37-year-old David Schmidt, the Queensland motorcycle rider who died after an accident on day 1 of this year's race. A break now, but on the way, a look at what's coming up in the show.
The Stephen Show will take you inside this awesome drag racing operation as records tumble in Queensland. And don't miss our exclusive preview of plans for the Eastern Creek Complex, why it's more than just a facelift. Plus, the latest motorsport news here on RPM.